All right, we're waiting for the notification to go on out. We're waiting for the notification to go on out. And in the meantime, I need to go grab my other gadget. Okay. All right, T. All right. I had to go get my tablet so I can actually see the chat. No, we don't want that. All right, here we go. Hey, Kelley Kales. Yep. Hey, everybody. I'm going to give it a few more minutes. All right, we're going to do something a little different today. How long we been on? 1 minute? Okay. We're going to give it another minute. And then we are going to begin. And then in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start getting the energy up in these cards. Because we are doing... did they give me the name of this poll? They didn't give me the name of this poll, but we're doing a looping poll, okay? To see what's looping that you may need to pay attention to in this energy, okay? All right. Okay, so we are 2 minutes in, all right? We're going to use 2 as a symbol of both sides of the energy field that we need to go ahead and balance within ourselves. Logical side, which will be masculine energy, which appears as positive charge in our body, as well as feminine charge, negative charge, which is the womb energy. This is the energy of creation, intuition, imagination, okay? All right, so before I begin this channeled message with the cards, we are going to go ahead and clear the tone, okay? Just before we clear the tone, I'm also going to go ahead and go through the disclaimer of this energy, all right? First and foremost, I want to go ahead and say that these messages are not for everyone, okay? These messages require you to do your work and to be responsible for your own thoughts, your own emotions, your own actions, and therefore your own outcome, aka your own manifestation, okay? Access is going to be granted to you based on what your inner belief system or your inner knowing, or aka your inner gnosis is, okay? So whatever you believe to be true, all right, or whatever resonates true to you, whatever limitations you've put on yourself and your environment, you know, or whatever you perceive the world to be is how access is going to be granted to you, okay? This is a spiritual journey, so a lot of these things that we're going to be talking about may not appear physically at first, okay? First, they're going to appear in the unseen realm, and then you're going to see them start to appear energetically, maybe even, you know, in archetypes acting out through different people. You'll be able to distinguish which energies you're interacting with, right? Because you wrestle not with flesh and blood, but, you know, what they say, principality and powers in higher places. So what we're learning here, these principalities and powers have names, they got archetypes, and they got codes, okay? And what we're doing here is waking you up so you can remember your own specific code of how to navigate this shift that we're now in, okay? The shift is different from 2018 or even 2020 coming into 2021. It's new energy, okay? And they are here. Okay, let me just put it that way. So whether you think they is Buddha, whether you think they is Christ, however you want to transmute this energy, it is in our atmosphere. Whether you consider it to be the Christos energy or your Christ-like energy or your Nirvana, or I don't remember the term that there's a term in Hinduism and Buddhism, but I can't remember that right now. But it doesn't matter what part you're coming from as far as in a knowing system or in a belief system. They're all the same, just structured differently. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. So you're going to get access granted based on how much limitations you put on yourself. So I'm going to tell you honestly, what I have learned in this walk is that if you think you know, just settle into you don't know as much as you think you know, okay? When they say precept upon precept in your learning, some of the precepts that you would have learned maybe a year or two ago is going to be shattered by new concepts or theories or truths that you've now stepped into. So I want you to understand there's levels to this shit. Okay, I'm just going to say that right now. Keep in mind that energy is fluid. So if I say that this is your energy, but it feels more like the energy you're interacting with, you want to go ahead and place the energy where it needs to be. And last but not least, Dan! Oh my gosh! Dan, how are you? Oh my gosh. Day one up in the house, okay? All right, so keep in mind, I am not your guru, okay? You want to know that, all right? I am not your guru. You are your own guru. You do not need me to be your guru. I am just here to help you to remember, okay? Now, let me just say this. At the bottom of the deck, we're talking about soul time energy. And I need lights because I cannot see. Okay, that's a lot better for me. Yeah, Dan, it's been a minute. It's been a minute, Dan. I'm so happy the family is coming back. Okay, I see y'all. Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. There's a glare in the cards. Let's do it a different way. Let's do it a different way. All right. Give me 1 second, y'all. I need lights because I cannot really see the cards. Even in my glasses, I need to be able to read them. Okay. Ooh, that's so much better. All right, Kelly Kells, I see what you was talking about with the soft lighting, girl. Okay. All right, so I need to explain something to you guys really quickly, okay? First, I'm going to go ahead, and I know we talked about charging water, so start it in the next live because some of you may not have your water close by. We are going to start charging our water every time we go live, okay? I'm going to break that down in the next live, how we're going to be doing that. And the purpose of charging our water is because you need to understand that you are starting to activate your energetic body. Your energetic body flows in water energy, okay? This is your emotional body. So one of the ways you can begin to do healing and speaking to your emotional body is through water. Okay, now keeping in mind that your words are your swords. So your words can either create things or they can destroy things, all right? Now, let's get into this. All right, soul time energy. This is number 40. If we break this down, 4. Okay, so just know this energy right here is going to be an energy of doing. Now, I want to be very clear and specific about this soul time energy. We are literally operating off of 2 timelines. Let me go ahead and show you exactly what I'm talking about here. Okay, because this is important. Okay. I showed you guys this in the activation code when we did the video about 3-Eye Atlas as well as A6 Lemon, okay? I broke this down to you, all right? So let me just go ahead and break this down one more time so I can actually tell you how soul time applies to the tone and the energy that's being transmitted right now, okay? So, Going back in history, we had systems that were in place not just to track the solar system, the weather, the seasons. We also had a system in place to track the cosmos, okay? So whether it's the great year, the golden age, the Kali Yugas, okay? There was a system in place, an ancient calendar system in place before it was changed that not only tracked the sun and its movements, but it also tracked the cosmos. Okay. Now, once you can say Christianity was changed to become the dominant foundation of how religion was going to be perceived. Okay. The calendar was changed. Okay, so you can say whether it was for control, whether it was for simplifying things, it really doesn't matter. The bottom line is the calendar was changed, and the calendar was changed, deducting about 5,500, give or take 5 to 10 years, okay, plus days, okay, about 10 days, all right, which means that if the calendar was not changed, we would be operating in a timeline of 7530. That is important, and I'm going to show you why that is important, because remember, right now we're in a time of resonance, okay? It's about you resonating on a frequency. It's no longer about you finding the frequencies, you admitting the frequency, the tone, okay? Now, energetically, numbers have codes and numbers have clue, all right? So I'm finna do a little quick tic-tac-toe numerology so we can get into the cards, all right? We're in the year 2025. If the year was not changed, we would have been in the year 7530. Why is that important? Because everything is energy, all right? When I map out 2025 on the numerology plane and how this plays out, there are 3 different planes. You got the physical plane, you got the soul plane, and you got the mental plane, okay? These all have their own separate function, and as well as the numbers that correlates to these planes. That's not important right now. What you need to know is that there's certain energy archetypes that flows through the dates and the numbers and the timelines, okay? Saturn is going to be important here, so you can say Saturn will be the 22-25 calendar that you're looking at, and Neptune would be the 75-30 calendar that you're looking at. So you're looking at that from 2 spiritual places, right? Saturn is the timekeeper. We know Saturn as Chronos, the timekeeper, okay? I'm going to have to do a whole video on that, all right? All right, but there's another aspect to Chronos, all right? And it's a Greek, and it can, I'm gonna have to circle back. I'm gonna do a whole separate video breaking this down for y'all, okay? What's important here is these energies that are flowing through the year 2025, okay? You got the arrow of poor memory flowing through here. You got the arrow of passivity flowing through here, but you also have the arrow of disorder. This is not practicality. This is actually the arrow of disorder, okay? This is actually the arrow of disorder. You got the arrow of disorder flowing through here. Now, why is that important? This is important because we're talking about energy, okay? Look at what the fuck is going on in the world today, okay? We're talking about energy here, okay? Now, energetically, this year is vibrating on energy of poor memory, people not remembering who they are, people not remembering why they're here for this experience at this time, okay, whether you want to call it the matrix, whether you want to call it a stimulation, whether you want to call it heaven and hell, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter, right? Within whatever system you're calling it, you don't really fully have people operating in memory of who they are and how powerful they are. And I'm going to sit and raise my hand right here because I'm telling y'all, I'm walking through some things right now within myself. And I am astounded by the memory that's flowing into the point that I've been understanding why I've been walking around with these insecurities, okay? Now, watch this, right? Not only does this year vibrate on an energetic frequency of poor memory, it also vibrates on an energetic frequency of disorder, okay? You see a lot of that going on in the world right now. I don't have to stop there, right? But it also vibrates on a frequency of passivity, okay? Which means when you're passive, you're very moldable, all right? Hop on over if the calendar was not changed. If the calendar was not changed, there is a line line of spirituality flowing through this energy. So what's lining up right now is you remembering who you are and that you're connected to the cosmos. So literally the cosmos, the earth, and your inner being is aligning, okay? I think I did the video. I kind of broke that down to you when I did the video about activation codes with 3i Atlas and A611, okay? This shit goes very deep. There's levels to this, right? Now, the important thing is you have some people over here operating on this timeline. Because they don't remember who they are, they're stuck in fear. There's a lot of disorder, right? They move based on a lot of the news systems, a lot of the dogmatic systems, a lot of the religious systems that does not necessarily help you to remember who you truly are, okay? And not only that, you're really passive. So I can put anything on the internet, I can put anything on the TV, I can put anything anywhere, right? And you're going to believe what I say, right? So this is really you having to do your work to remember, okay? Hop on over here. Energetically, some of you just know, I'm not even really paying attention to what's going on in the news because a lot of the stuff don't make sense, right? I'm going to pay energetically to what I'm called to, like, so if something pops up in the ethers or, if I pop up on something on social media or even if I tap into the news, I'm no longer looking at it based on what they're saying. I'm looking at it energetically, okay? So some of you are already doing that, right? Some of you are already doing that, right? Here is why you're doing it. You're flowing in on this energy of spirituality that is actually what's going on. This is a new timeline, which is really not a new timeline because they changed the time, right? So if they did not take off 5,500 plus years off of the calendar, we would be right here at 7530, okay? This is important because all three of these planes are active. You got your memory, your poor memory, remember? Number 3 activates your memory, your imagination, and your fucking creativity, okay? Over here, you don't got shit. Over here, you got people operating, they don't remember shit. You don't remember shit. Right? And then you think you're fucking crazy because you have all these different beautiful energies trying to speak to you, but you don't trust yourself when you hear your intuition talking to you. You don't trust yourself when you hear yourself telling you how powerful, special, and wonderful you are, right? Right? Let me tell you something about the chosen ones. The chosen ones are the people who choose themselves. It ain't no particular special group of people. It is the people who choose themselves. Sit with that for a minute, okay? Now, you got the 3, which is activating your memory, your intuition part. Your memory, your imagination. Okay, you got the 3 activating your memory, your imagination, and your creativity. Right. You got the 5 activating your heart chakra and opening you up for change. Right. You got the 7 activating the 7 chakra wheels in your system because this is where you're gonna have to do the work. Right. So when they talk about ascension simply means you remembering. And the energy is now in the atmosphere for you to remember. All right? We're operating on 2 different timelines. Some people are stuck over here, right? Poor memory, paying attention to the disorder, passivity. Some of us are over here understanding that everything that's unfolding right now in this ascension process is a part of you remembering who you really are. Okay? So when you find yourself drawn to stuff like the pyramids, or you find yourself drawn to quantum physics, or you find yourself drawn to crystals, or you find yourself drawn maybe to go visit the temples in Maya, in Maya, Mexico, whatever it is, just know the deeper parts of yourself are now active, and these comments right here are helping the energy. They're speaking to each other. We're now stepping in the realm of energy. Okay? Energy. It's no more what you can see on the outside that's controlling shit, right? Energy that you may not be able to see is controlling this, and it's controlling it on all different levels. Okay? All different levels. All different levels. It's controlling it from your mental plane, your soul plane, and your physical plane. All right? So just know that. Okay, so that's a quick rundown of what's happening. And you need to know that because that's the foundation of a lot of things and a lot of the messages that I'm here to share with you. Okay? Now, let's talk about this one right here, soul time energy. All right? Remember, we're operating on two different energetic frequencies, okay? When I talk about time, I'm referring to energy, energetic patterns, and archetype of energy and energy loops, okay? So this first card will be the tone in which they want you to pay attention to. This is soul time. They're asking you, where are you in this energy? Are you still being controlled by the external world? Are you really tapping in, right? To the places within yourself that was not getting any light. All of the light that you gave to other people, right? All of the praise, all of the validation, all of the see me's, right? All of the I'm smart, I'm not smart, whatever it is. Whatever it is we have been looking outside for ourselves, they're asking us right now, it is time for you to tap into this beautiful energy that's here. It's time for you to remember who you are. The frequency of soul time asks you to allow the possibility of a new reality to emerge. One that embraces the concept that while the corporal body is mortal, okay, they talking about the physical body, the physical world, okay, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. Okay? Please understand the way that you have to move through this energy moving forward is you have to pay attention to your intuitive nature and what things feel like. All right, so it ain't no more get out your fucking feelings. It ain't no more get out your feelings, because your feelings are the indicators of what you need to do, right? Because your feelings are attached to your nervous system. And if your feelings are out of whack, guess what? Your nervous system is out of whack. And guess what? You know your nervous system really controls the stress levels of your body. The nervous system really controls every part of your body, speaks to every part of your body. It travels through the nerves. Go watch Spiritual Gateway to Healing Your Nervous System. And that's something else we're going to be doing in these videos too, because you got to connect the dots here. It ain't no more not taking accountability for your spiritual walk and your spiritual path. This don't mean that you got to know everything, right? But what it does mean is that you got to know you. You got to know you, right? You got to know you. And right now they're telling you, what timeline you finna operate from? You finna operate from the one of the past? Right, the fake timeline that they changed, right? Here with all of these arrows. When you're doing numerology, like for example, let me just show you. Anybody, when I do a numerology chart, right? And they have this arrow right here, right? You can tell because this line is going to show in their decisions, their actions, their choices, and how their life is played out. Anybody that's missing the numbers 1, 4, or 7 in their chart, you got the arrow of disorder. So if you're walking around feeling unlucky or you think somebody's unlucky, more than likely they have the arrow of disorder, or maybe even the arrow of frustration running through their chart and they don't even know it. You're supposed to master these things so you can overcome them. And here is where you can. Here's where you can, right over here. Right over here. All 3 of them is activated. All 3 of them. Part of your ascension process is remembering who you are. All right. Soul time energy. This is Saturn's energy, right? Showing up. Saturn is a timekeeper. So Saturn is asking you, okay, well, for the past maybe 5 years or, for your whole life, this is how we've measured things, right? This is how, your moral compass has been guided, right? But now that this new energy is in, is that really the time that we want to go by? Do we want to go by these past energies that were limiting you? Do we want to go by past belief system? Do we still want to hold on to relationships, especially relationships that's circling back now from your past? Do we want to go back to past relationships that we know is not for our good, right? Do we want to go back to past energetic patterns, right? Where we show up with the same energy, different face? Same energy, different face. One of the awakenings I had within this past 3 days was I've been hiding and not wanting to be seen for a really long time, y'all. And that was blocking so much things, right? So much things. And I had an honest conversation because I didn't see that until they showed me a particular incident in the back of the pickup truck. with my dad and my cousins in the conversation that happened and how I shrank myself down in that moment. And I must have been like, what, 10? I'm about to be 50 next year, y'all. So from 10 for 40 fucking years, I was carrying around a loop of not wanting to be seen. Now, okay, this is a trigger warning because this is going to ask some of you to do the work, right? Now, for some of you, I want to say also, if you are having a hard time understanding a lot of this and the psychology of this, go study Carl Jung's work, okay? Go study Carl Jung's work, all right? So this is the overall energy. This is the energy that they're asking you to pay attention to, right? We have been keeping track of some things energetically, physically, emotionally, mentally, even in our habits and our actions that no longer really serve this new timeline that we on right now, right? But we finna face the funk, like, are we gonna fake the funk to like pretend like we're really doing the work, but you know, when ain't nobody looking, we're not really doing the work? Because I'm gonna tell you something, right? Doing the work don't always feel comfortable, y'all. It don't always feel comfortable. And doing the work, sometimes you remember that you operating like a fucking hypocrite. Doing the work, sometimes you realize that all the love that you've been pouring out and labeling it love is because you wasn't loving yourself. Doing the work may look like you the fucking narcissist in a relationship. Doing the work may look like you've been the enabler, but blaming the other person for not, you know, whatever. Doing the work could look like you have not been embracing your true essence. Doing the work could look like you have not been nurturing yourself. Doing the work could look like you put that gift off that you've been told from the time you was 12 years old that you had. You put that in the shelf and you make sure everybody else's dreams is done, but you haven't took yours off the shelf yet. Doing the work is going to require you to look at some spaces within yourself that may not be so comfortable. But can I tell you something that comes with the freedom of doing the work? One of the freedoms that comes with doing the work is that you can enter any situation in any relationship knowing what's your shit and what's not yours. Right? Because you've taken accountability for the spaces within yourself that you were trying to heal through another person, but only you could heal those spaces, right? So when someone comes to you with abandonment issues and they want to blame you because they feel abandoned, you know that that's not me. That's you. And that's going to be needed on this journey for us empaths over here. It's going to be needed. Because you cannot be walking in your truth, your light, and your darkness, right? You can't be walking in both of them and merging into one, your wholeness, your true essence, living the truth in who you are, right? And not have relationships that support that. You can't do that no more. You can't do that no more. You're no longer going to feel comfortable in areas where you're not able to authentically be yourself anymore. You're not going to be able to do that no more. Okay? Now, remember, we're paying attention here to archetypal energy. Okay? Now, remember I told you that Saturn is the timekeeper here, right? But I also told you Neptune's energy is here too, right? Neptune is offering you not just the awakening aspect of it, right? But it's offering you how you get to use this and serve people, right? So you no longer have to be the people pleaser. You no longer got to sign up for shit that you don't want to do. You no longer have to not be your authentic self. You no longer got to say yes when you really mean no, or say no when you really mean yes. You don't have to do it anymore. This is a season for you to step into your true tone, your original tone. This is a season for you to be exactly who you are, unapologetically. Ain't nobody perfect. Show me someone out here that's walking in perfection. We've all made our mistakes. We've all done dumb shit. We've all hurt people to some degree, even if it wasn't purposely. The same grace that we've given to other people, it's time to give that to yourself. But the same judgment that you feel that you've given to other people, take that judgment, turn it into observation, and then turn that inwardly. If y'all don't mind putting a thumbs up on this video for me, please, that would definitely help the algorithm. All right, so let me just go ahead and explain this alpha draconian energy, okay? Just so you know, the same thing that I was talking about, this energy represents dogma. It represents energy of, I want to say, unethical behavior. This could also be energetic vampires, right? This could be greed, right? This could be, being a hypocrite. Okay, this could be deceptive energy. This could also be political extremism. I didn't say that right, but the political extreme. Okay, I want you guys to know you have a choice because that is an energetic pattern. I just showed it to you. You can find it showing up in the numbers. Okay, this is the looping energy that they want you to pay attention to. The Lupin energy is energy of very dogmatic energy vampires. You're going to have to watch yourself because this energy could be deceptive. Now, this is where I say you got to watch yourself because the question is, are you being deceptive with yourself because you're still holding on to things from the past? Things from the past that are no longer able to come, because poor memory can't come over to this new. Poor memory can't fit here in this new timeline. Disorder can't fit here in this new timeline. It's blocked. It's blocked. It can't fit. In order for me to get poor memory, all these lines got to be blank. In order for me to get disorder, all these lines got to be blank. In order for me to get passivity, all these lines got to be blank. So none of this energy here can fit in this new timeline. What they say, it was not hidden from you, but hidden for you. We're going to take a look at where the energy is unfolding, okay? And then we're going to take a look at how you need to navigate. Okay, this is a lot of cards. Let me just going to go ahead. Okay. I cannot make this shit up. The energy is unfolding here. They ask you to pay attention because this is a time of change, and they ask you to have the courage. What have you been thinking? What have you been in your thoughts thinking about where you need the courage to change? Right? What needs to be rebirthed? Have you been isolating yourself? Has there been an isolated thought that you've been thinking about? What toxicity patterns that has you bound? What have you been nurturing that has not birthed itself into your experience? And now this don't necessarily have to be something positive because remember the looping energy here is the alpha draconian energy, which is energy where you can be stuck in dogma or deceptive energy, energetic vampires. There has been divine intervention, and this is that cosmic energy that's coming in. And you know what? And here is where I have to say, this is where you can look at the sciences. And this is where you go do your work. Remember, I tell you, I'm not your guru. Go study this stuff. Okay? Here is where you can go look at the scientific research. So you have people out here like Stefan Barnes that's showing you in real time, in science, how there is a divine intervention with these comets. These comets are doing things that they've never seen, never heard of. Some of the video they're not even posting. So if you wanted a warning or a sign or some type of clue, here's the clue. Yes, warning, intervention, new energy. You got the courage to change. That song is popping up in my head. Ain't no half stepping. Hey, Kim. But I'm not talking about that, the remakes from back in my days, right? I'm talking about the original one. Matter of fact, let me go look that up. Hold on, y'all. Was it the heat waves? Yep, the heat wave. Ain't no half stepping. It's playing in my head. Okay? If y'all want to go look that song up. You're not gonna be able to do this halfway anymore. So this, so and let me tell you something that they told me. Oh, oh yeah. So you're not gonna be able to just do your sporadic meditations anymore, where you wash the dishes and stuff. No, yeah, you can do that type of meditation too. Your walking meditation, yeah. But I'm gonna need you to sit your ass down with your notebook, yeah. I'm gonna need you to really like sit still and have that notebook next to you, that type of meditation. I'm gonna need you to go pull that book out and read them red letters only, that type of meditation. Then I'm gonna need you to take what you find with them red letters and then match that to the 12 DNA, the 12 zodiac, right? The 12 disciples, right? The 12 disciplines. And then I'm gonna let you flip it into six. Like then I'm gonna show you how that six folds in, right? But you don't get that type of information without divine intervention and without doing the work. Remember, the looping energy here, even going into 2026, is still going to be alpha draconian energy, right? Like this energy. Now, let me just tell you this. Okay, boom, they're telling me I need to tell you this. Okay, disclaimer. Okay, tell me I need to tell you this. Please know that all energetic systems within this field that we play in, right, is twofold. You got two sides, all right? So this alpha draconian energy, right, once it's flipped upside down on its head, that energy can easily become somebody that's making amends, somebody that's operating in common sense and not deceptiveness and not trying to be an energetic vampire, right? Somebody that's awakening, right? Somebody that's not abusive but willing to hear your point of it, right? So just know, this got two sides, but the looping energy is not this side, right? Because we're not. Come on now, y'all. Come on now. I don't even gotta say shit. Just turn on the fucking news. This mirroring energy here, this watching, this spying energy. I'm gonna tell you right now. This is your inner being looking at you. This is not external energy calling in right now because you've been paying attention to the external energy for a long time. You know what that looked like. Like, you already know what that looked like. You don't need nobody to tell you what it looked like when somebody jealous of you. You don't need nobody to tell you when somebody say they for you, but as soon as you tell them something positive, the first thing they do is kick out something negative and then follow it up with a positive. Like, you sure you want to do that? You sure you want to do that? Well, I wouldn't do that, but I guess if you want to do that, you should. It could probably work out, right? You know what that shit feel like already. You don't gotta watch that no more. Are you watching you? I looked at myself in the mirror last night and talking to myself in the mirror and some shit came up, y'all, that I didn't even know was buried down there. I didn't even know that shit was looping. Start watching and intercepting and introspecting yourself. See, I could go deeper and I could pinpoint to you who's spying on you. I got videos in the archives that are timeless, that if you want to get into some shit, go back and watch some videos. Right? I could give you the who, I could give you the what, I could give you the when, I could give you the why, but ain't none of that gonna help you if you're not looking at yourself and the role that you play in these situations. I just showed you the timeline. 4 requires you to do your work. This time right here, we're operating on frequency energy right now, resonance. What are you resonating on? What's your truth? Right? This feminine energy is nurturing energy, it's energy of the womb, it's energy of birthing something, it's creative energy. And it don't matter if you're a man or a woman, right? You're nurturing things in the womb within you. That's your thoughts and your emotions, all right? Your emotions is the wound. Your thoughts is what fertilize the wound, right? When the emotion gets birthed, the emotions are going to birth an action. When that action gets birthed, that action is going to birth a manifestation. Matter. You're always falling through the 4 elements, y'all. They're saying here it is a time to celebrate. You got gifts. When is the last time you celebrated you? Hey now. You know what I just latched on to? The last two digits, 12. Oh man, I don't know if you're going through like a deep spiritual journey right now, LaShonda. But what I want to say to you is research 12, okay? Um, hmm. Research 12, okay? Research 12. They're saying they'll meet you on the 12th plane, okay? And I'm gonna go through a lot of that, but you are going through and just what I'm hearing also is that what I'm hearing is pay attention to your body, because a lot of what's happening with you is energy surges in your body, okay? So any random ache and pain, any tension, okay? You need to know that, especially if you know it's nothing medically wrong with you, all of that is energy surges. So on the days where the energy feels very heavy, and this is for all of you too, okay? But especially you, um, on the days where that you feel just a lot of tension and it's very heavy, it's okay for you to check what's going on in the solar flares, okay? Check what's going on in the solar flares, okay? Because you are linked to that. There's something in the 12. There's something, you're being activated, my love. And it feels like this is happening fast for you too. It's like all of your chakras are coming online. Boom, 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 boom. So I wouldn't be surprised if you just had like a lot of shit just pulled off. Boom, boom. Like all of your foundations may have shattered, like one behind the next. They're showing me like a domino effect. Okay. Celebrate. Be present. Okay. Be present. Sit in gratitude. Listen, let me tell y'all something right now. The way to get through this is by paying attention to how energy flows. Your emotions are what gives birth to everything, because your emotions are the wound. Okay, your thoughts might spark an emotion, so this is why you got to watch your mind. Okay, watch what you're looping. Watch the conversations that you're having with yourself about yourself. Watch the conversation that you're having with yourself about other people. That's important, right? So you can think of your thoughts as a spark or the sperm that fertilizes the wound, your emotion, right? The wound is then going to produce an action, fire energy. Okay. Passion, fueled by passion or fear, whatever. Come on now. And the output is going to be manifestation of matter or material. This is going to operate. That's always going to be the way energy flows. First gateway that you got to man is your thoughts. This is why meditation is important. There's no more not getting in your meditation time. There's no more not getting in your quiet time. And you're going to know when you are balanced with that too, because you're going to feel irritated, short-tempered, annoyed, like you haven't gotten your me time yet. Right? You're being called back to yourself. Part of the awakening ascension process is really about you remembering. Celebrate your gifts. If you've been seeing lack and abundance, you can't have abundance with lack. And sometimes, and I'm not just talking about money here. It could be love. It could be a community. It could be family, right? Start seeing gratitude in the little things. Maybe you don't have the $100,000 for your house yet, but you know what? There's food in the refrigerator. Your bills are paid. You start there. You know what? They still mad at me, but I'm glad that I can see my part in how this conversation may have went left. I can see that I probably, reacted instead of seeing their point of view. So I'm gonna go apologize because I'm so grateful that at least I have somebody in my life that can show me back and reflect back to me my truth. So I'm grateful for the people that I have in my life. Although sometimes, that's an ouch. The way they would have said it, what they said was the truth. So I'm not going to be offended because they spoke the truth and I'm looking at me. And I may have said some things that was harsh. So I'm going to go back over here and make a correction. Be present and grateful for the things and the people in your life. Every experience, every breath needs to be celebrated. Allow your body to be the indicator in which tells you when something is off. Can I tell you? I'm going to tell you this right now, okay? Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. That's the purpose of me getting on here, y'all. I'm so happy. Listen. Science is now catching up with this stuff. Do your due diligence, okay? Everything is energy. You don't believe me? Go. And you don't have to like science. Just study. Just watch a video. Put it on in the background while you're washing the dishes. Science and consciousness. To see, science is now catching up with what the mystics and the yogis and the sages have been saying for eons. They're now catching up. They're now understanding that light is just a byproduct of sound. So you really shouldn't be studying the physical aspect, right? Because the physical is produced by the invisible. That invisible part of you is the stillness within you. That's the nudge that tells you turn left, but you turn right, and then you get stuck in traffic because you listen to that voice. Right? Come on now. What part in this toxic shit that you've been playing in this old timeline? Divine intervention is happening now. They're asking you, do you have the courage to change? And if you don't have the courage to change, guess what? We are here to support you, right? We're here to support you energetically. We're here to support you, right? Look at what these comments are doing. Y'all think I'm crazy? Go online and you can find that there's a calendar out there with this date on it that's active, that people actually take credit on. Numerology shows you energetic patterns. They're saying we are here to support you. You don't got to lie about who you are no more. You don't got to believe people bullshit about you no more. You don't got to downplay yourself anymore. You don't got to beat yourself up for mistakes no more. You don't got to feel guilty no more. You don't got to be shamed no more. Everything that you have experienced have led you to this moment right here, right now. Have the courage. The frequency is here to support you. I'm going to read this again. Soul time. The frequency of soul time asks us to allow the possibilities of a new reality to emerge. One that embraces the concept that while the corporal body is mortal, right? Corporal bodies, all physical things die. Pay attention to the leaves. We're in fall time now. We don't enter the underworld, right? Underworld is just simply where we enter into where the sun is not at its peak, and it's every day the sun, the distance of the sun, it gets darker faster, okay? While things die, you're being offered a new reality where your soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. This is why you can see all of these I want to say what we may, some people may think is crazy, or all of these new boundaries that people are pushing out, all of these new concepts that people are pushing out that don't necessarily fit the old way of thinking. The universe is expanding, and it's asking you to allow your soul to expand too. And you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. If you're not doing what you're aligned to do, what you're called to do, it's going to show up in your body first as dis-ease, maybe a little achy, maybe a little painful. And then that achy and that pain is going to turn into, some type of dis-ease, discomfort, or maybe even lead to some type of disease. That's the first thing they taught us in Reiki. In Reiki energy healing, one of the first things they taught us was all disease is stemmed from a dis-ease within the body. You first feel it within the body as an energetic thing, right? So if I have a client and the client comes and they're telling me that they have a lot of, heart issue, or, and they want to do energetic work because, they just don't understand, like, there's a lot of tightness, or they go to the doctor and there's nothing wrong, but they just can't, there are two places I'm going to work with. I'm first going to work with their root chakra because I need to understand your foundation, right? What is your foundation, right? That's the first place I'm going to go. Then I'm going to go to your heart. Where is there unforgiveness? First of another person, but then once you identify that other person, let's go and see where is there unforgiveness for you with yourself, right? And once we get those two chakras out of the way, now we're going to go to your earth chakra, because now I need you to get grounded in your truth. Okay? So the first place that a Reiki energetic healer is going to go when you talk about heart things is your heart chakra, your root chakra. When you come in with any type of cramps in the stomach, abdomen area, I'm going to your sacral chakra, and I'm going to your solar plexus, because that's going to tell me about your confidence, and that's going to tell me about your relationships and the people and the emotions and the changes that needs to happen. It's all connected, y'all. I'm just here to help y'all remember that. All right, let's pull the last cards here. And this energy is going to let us know how we are to navigate through letting go and embracing the change and checking in with ourselves, right? This energy is going to let us know how we are to navigate. The tone has been set. It's time for a new reality to emerge. And that reality first has to emerge within you. I can't make this shit up. They're saying the way to navigate this is by planting seeds and allowing them to grow. And for some of you, you've been planting seeds for a while. For some of you, although it's been difficult, and although you may have feel like you've been going through a fog, there's still been that little grain of mustard seed that I know they got to be something better. I know I'm not going through all of this shit just for a reason. Ain't no way I'm going through this fucking shit for no reason. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. It can't be no way. You see, because whether it's God, Buddha, Allah, the universe, source don't never drop me nowhere and then just leave me. Like, it don't work like that. It don't work like that, right? Plant the seeds so they can grow. And where you going to be planting the seeds? In your family, home, and the things you're committing yourself to. How are you going to be planting these seeds? I can't make this shit up, y'all. I cannot make this shit up. How are you going to plant these seeds, family? You're going to plant these seeds with truth and expression of who you truly are. We don't have to hide no more. We don't got to lie no more. I don't care how weird and different you are. I don't care how you choose to express yourself. I don't care how you I don't care your sexual preference. I don't care if I don't give a shit about none of that. What I give a shit about is the resonance that you're vibrating on. Are you a kind person? Do you exude love? Do you hold space to be non-judgmental and allowing me maybe to see parts of me reflected in you that I didn't even know existed? Do you try to put me down, or do you build me up? Do I feel safe with you? See, these are the things I look for. These are the things I now look for, because I realize us empaths, right? Sometimes, you get so caught up because you can feel other people's, pain and trauma that you just want to nurture everybody back to health. And let me just give you something here that I had to write down, because this was a message that came through years ago. Some people's are just here to experience the pain so they can evolve. Some people is just in their chart. Some people, your numbers and your codes show that you have to evolve past certain shit. So it's just like playing a video game, right? So a lot of you may not know that I am a trained professional sound audio engineer. Trained professional sound audio engineer. Okay? And one of the things that you had to do was train your ears. You had to learn, and you had to learn how to train your ears, okay? So you would go in and you would just listen to white noise all day, pink noise, just static. And you had to literally train your ears to hear static, right? And then, so when you get into the booth with the artist, or you get in, to the recording session, right? If there's some fuzz in the microphone, if there's some background noise that you need to plug in, not plug in, but pull out, right? You're able to now detect, right, what frequency that's on, and then you can go in and pull it out using all of those knobs on the thing. They got 1,000 knobs in that thing. You are going and able to precisely pull out whatever white noise or pink noise that's there that you don't want. Okay? The reason why I'm telling you all of this is because it's the same thing in how energy flows with you. You're planting the seeds, right? You've had enough experiences where you can tell what feels good to you, what doesn't feel good to you. You've had enough experiences to let you know what your moral compass should look like. Shouldn't nobody have to tell you that you was being an asshole at the cashier, at the register? Come on now. Don't nobody got to tell you that shit. Don't nobody have to tell you that you were being a dick to your wife this morning. Come on now. Or to your husband. Don't nobody got to tell you that. If you were really honest with yourself and truthful, you would know don't nobody got to tell you that. So the way out of this, planting your seed, start being authentically who you are. If you don't want to do something, let your no's be no and your yes be yes. I told y'all this change is not coming in externally. This change is happening with family, people close to you, your relationship. Stop committing yourself and being a fucking people pleaser or a fucking savior to people that may not even want to be saved. Do you know that some people just like being the victim? Like there's a whole psychological thing for that, y'all. I can't remember the name of it. Kelley found it years ago. I can't remember, but there's a name for that. There's a name for people that literally don't mind being the victim. They don't mind. Like they thrive on that. And this energy right here, this alpha draconium energy, energetic vampires. And this also dwells in the realm of psychic vampires. So this is where you can have dark empaths that are empathetic. They're empaths also, but they're not doing none of this work, right? They still over there in the toxic shit. Where'd that energy go? They still over there in the toxic shit. Right? You got people that use your weakness and your kindness and your love, that take your boundaries and obliviate them, right? They pay more attention to you than you pay to yourself. They pay more attention to you than you pay to yourself, right? So they know your likes, your dislikes. Ooh, they think they got you mapped out. Ooh, they fucking think they got you mapped out. I kind of, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a lot of archetype type of energy that I move in and out of with that Scorpion energy, and we will let you think that you got us figured out, honey. Don't ever think you got a Scorpio figured out. That archetype sign right there. Just like Libras will have you thinking that things is one thing when it's really not. So you always want to double check when you're talking to a Libra, right? Because up may not be up may be down, right? Each one of these 12 zodiac signs present an archetype that you have to master, because these are aspects of your personality and your psyche within you. It has nothing to do with external shit. That's been the secret all along, right? But if you don't understand the rules of the game, That's just like thinking that gravity don't exist because you don't know about gravity, right? So you can go try to jump off of a bridge or something, right? Thinking that gravity's not going to come into play because you don't know gravity. Come on, no, it don't work like that. So not because you're not familiar of the rules of the game means that the rules don't apply. Your energy is your currency. That's how this works. Your energy is your currency. What you put your energy on, what your thoughts or your emotions is what your actions are going to go towards, and that is what's going to manifest. That's going to be your outcome. And let me just give you another thing too, right? The outcome that you see right now in front of you is an outcome. The outcome that you see right in front of you is the outcome of something that you created a while ago. That's not a new outcome, right? Cause and effect, right? So whatever you're experiencing in this moment, in this present moment, was a thought before this moment. So if you can catch the thoughts before the moment, or catch the thoughts in the moment, you have the power to wield and bend time and space. Okay. There is this very smart soul whose work I've been studying and channeling also. His name is Ishtok Bentov. Okay. And I love his work because his work has come as close to simplifying to me how our consciousness and how our inner powers work, okay, from a scientific level, right? Because a lot of people, they can't believe what they can't see. So now, we're ascending to a point and remembering to a point to understand that there is no science without spirit, and there is no spirit without science. They're the same coin, just different sides. Okay? I want you guys to remember this. We are now in a time that all of the great sages spoke about, that all of your masters, whether it's yogi masters, spiritual masters, all of the masters have spoken about a time like this. This is a time of great remembrance. We've now stepped into a time where the outer world is going to really begin to play out in real time, our inner world. Pay attention to what you are placing your inner energy on, right? I just showed you the timelines. In another video, we'll go over 2026 timelines, okay? Just pay attention. Stop spying on other people and spying yourself. I've been learning some cool shit about myself, y'all. Some cool shit about myself. Some stuff that I've just had to, like even yesterday. So I got a question for you guys. Did anything interesting happen for you guys on the 29th? I had some very interesting things happen to me on the 29th, which I think was last Wednesday, which was Wednesday. What time is it? Because I got to be out of here in a little while. Okay, last Wednesday, right? Wednesday that just passed, the 29th. I don't know what happened. I haven't checked out. I know enough to know. I know Stephon Burns did put out an emergency video, so I do remember that there was things going on in the skies. But I also know that there was some weird things happening just energetically. One thing, my doorbell just kept going off. And when you check the doorbell, there was nobody there. But when I checked the doorbell, there was just these orbs of light, right? There was nobody there, but it was an orb of light. All right, so I open the door, it's nobody there, and then the doorbell rings again, and then I look at the camera, and then, and then I didn't take a picture of the orbs, and I should have took a picture of the orbs. I didn't take a picture of the orbs, right? So I go back because I'm now having a conversation with Kelley like a couple of days later, and I'm telling her like this happened, and then my TV did this, and then this came through the TV, like there was shit happening, like the TV was fucking, it was just weird, and then I'm like, and then so she said to me, she said I saw orbs on the 20, she said I saw orbs on Wednesday too. She said I did, and she told me where she saw them, and then she said, and then yes, and my TV did something strange like that also. So I don't know if any of you had any interesting things happen on the 29th, okay? And I believe like right around that time, I would say 3-Eye Atlas was doing some amazing things in the sky, okay? So, yeah, I would like to know if any of you guys have experienced anything interesting or profound within the past 3 days, especially from the 29th up until yesterday. I kind of feel like we're still sitting in the energy. I've had a lot of revelations between these past 3 days. And I also want to say in facing some deep-rooted fears that I didn't even know was programmed. Okay, I did not know that I was replaying these loops in my head. Okay, so the tone that they're setting is, once again, the frequency of the soul. Time asks us to allow the possibilities of new realities to emerge. One that embraces a concept that while the corporal body is mortal, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite, okay? Now, the energy is saying that the looping energy that's showing up right now, right, is energy of dogmatic systems, energetic vampires, psychic vampires, and just corrupt energy, all right? Now, it's also saying be mindful because you are being called right now in a time to truly express yourself from a place of truth. Pay attention to any toxic patterns, toxic relationships, especially when it comes into any family or home situation or anything that you've committed yourself to, okay? This is a time for you to plant the seeds and watch them spring forth. You do need to celebrate your gifts and pay attention to where abundance is right now, all right? Abundance is not a thing that you got to wait until it gets here. Find your abundance now, right? You're being asked to step out and take courage, for change is here. And that is really the one thing that's promised you is change, right? You had other people watching you, spying on you, learning and figuring out how you work, who you are, how you tick, right? And not all of this spying and learning you was to use it to help you, right? It was used maybe to manipulate you, to break you down. It was used for lower vibrational things. So they're asking you right now is stop trying to figure other people out and watch yourself. The same things that these people saw in you that they was trying to snuff out, snuff down, not get you to see, you need to start seeing those parts of yourself. Whether they're parts of yourself that you need to let go, forgive, right? Because there's guilt and shame, right? Or parts of yourself that you need to love and embrace because you seek it within other people, all right? If you've been looking for divine intervention, it is here. And it is happening in the heavens as well as within you, all right? Go back to the beginning of the video because I broke that down for you, okay? Pay attention to your thoughts, okay? Especially the ones when you're isolated, the ones that you have as soon as you wake up in the morning, the ones that you fall asleep with, all right? Meditation has to be the order of the day, okay? It ain't good enough right now for you not to find you some quiet time, okay? No, okay? No. Rebirth is the order of the day. We have stepped into the energy of the underworld, which really means the inner world. Underworld means the inner world, okay? Rebirth is happening, which means the leaves are falling away. It's getting cold, which means you got to go when it's cold inside, right? Go within you. Spy on you. Observe you. Communicate with you, okay? There is something that was planted in your feminine energy. When we talk about feminine energy, we're talking about the womb, your intuition, your creative energy, your imagination. Where have you been directing that energy? What have you been using your imagination towards? Have you been imagining fucked up shit happening to you? Have you been imagining not having enough? Have you been imagining not being enough? Because if you have, right? Remember, we talked about meditation the other day, and I explained to you. Meditation or meditate means to mutter, to repeat. Okay? What have you been repeating? Because this energy that we call feminine energy is an energy that births things. It is a creative energy. But it can also destroy some things too, just depending on how you're using that energy, right? Where have you been putting your energy, aka your emotions? What have you been taking personal that you probably don't need to take personal because you need to work it out within you? Be present. Be grateful. Be thankful for the little things that you can see the leaves falling, the colors changing, that you found the penny on the ground, that you're able to see your kids smile, like whatever it is. Be thankful. There's always somebody else that's not doing as well as you, no matter what problems you think you got. Listen, there's always somebody there that can trump you. Okay. All right, y'all. Let me just also say this, my loves, okay? There is going to be some change to the channel, okay? I have been told that I do need to bring in some more order and structure because of the energy that's in the atmosphere right now. There's activations and there's also explanation of some things that I need to get out while we're shifting through this energy and while we're toning up our resonance, okay? Finding our tones. So just know that the channel will be changing. I'm going to be doing more structured things and having more of a schedule because I was already starting to feel overwhelmed, y'all, and I need to have a schedule, okay? So I'm going to have a schedule and we're going to get a rhythm going here because I know I've been going for a while, but I'm back and it's been about a month now, so I kind of feel like I remember what I'm doing again. Now we're going to bring some structure into how we are all remembering who we are, okay? All right, my loves. Y'all know the deal. You want to go ahead and you want to do something kind for yourself because you absolutely should, okay? And you also want to do something kind for somebody else, not because you should, but because you can, right? And positivity is contagious. Joy is contagious. Confidence is contagious, right? So, I want y'all to also look in the mirror and remind yourself that you're loved. You don't need to seek outside of yourself for that, okay? All right, my loves, I will be back tomorrow. I don't have a time. Just make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and put on that notification because I don't have a time, but I will be back, okay? And starting on Monday, we'll have a little bit more structure, okay? I love you guys much, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay, bye, my loves.